Hi there, I'm Mary Susie from Bead Me a Story, and today I'm going to show you how to make a beaded helm weave. You can, of course, make this in a necklace or bracelet, and I do have a bracelet shown here, but I have done these in earrings so that I can show you how to make this continuous and make them into a circle or basically like a little flower pattern. You'll notice in two of these I used different color beads on the inside and the outside, just to show you how you can contrast that. And in this one, I did them all in the same color. This is a really beautiful design. This is not original to me. I have seen this many, many, many times before, but I didn't necessarily see that there was a video out there to show you how to do this. And this is just a great beginner project. So I wanted everybody to be able to see how to do this easily and effortlessly, and I think you'll have a great time making these. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we are just going to do a very short helm weave. So we're going to end up with it in a circle, but you can see that there are only 5 rows in this. So basically I've gone ahead and closed 2 jump rings, 20 gauge 3/16, and I'm going to take my 20 gauge 1/8 inch jump rings. I went ahead and opened all of them, and I will connect one that I plan to take off later. This just kind of holds the end of my helm weave so that it's stable and I can add more rows to it. So here's my second 20 gauge 1/8 inch jump ring. And then I'm going to add a third one. Okay, so the next row that I'm going to add is going to be the beaded row. So I'm going to take one of my larger jump rings, the 20 gauge 3/16, and I'm going to pick up my first bead, my color A bead. So this is a metallic bead, and then I'm going to also use a silver line. So I'm using 2 different beads with this. But basically what you want to do is you want to slide this jump ring in without dropping your piece. And you want to slide this in between these 2 large jump rings. And then you see I'm not passing through those 20 gauge and 1/8 that I just added. Not passing through these. I'm going to stay around the outside of that. So I'm passing between these 2 larger jump rings here. Okay, and I'm going to feed that in a little bit more so I can fit my other bead on. And then close. So you'll see that you don't want to put both beads on at the same time because of course you wouldn't be able to get this slid over to here. So that's why I did that in the order that I did it. Now we're going to go for our larger jump rings again. And I am just passing one of these through both of the 20 gauge 1/8 inch jump rings. Okay, so that's on one side, and then I flip it over and I add another 20 gauge 1/8 inch jump ring. Again, through the 1/8 inch rings. I'm sorry, I'm adding a 20 gauge 3/16 jump ring. I think I said that wrong. It's always hard to talk and do chainmail at the same time. But there you have it. So you can see that this bead, it's sliding a little bit on me, but it's going to end up sitting up here to the side. Okay. And you can see that this guy's just held on to that first row so that it was stable enough for me to go ahead and do this. Okay, so now we're going to start another row, and I'm just going to once again, add the 20 gauge and 1/8 jump rings. Should have brought these closer to me so I didn't have to stick my hand in front of the camera every time. Okay, so there's the second one of those. Okay, and now once again, we're going to go ahead and add our beaded row. So I'm going to grab one of these larger jump rings, 20 gauge and 1/8. I'm going to pick up a bead. Then I'm going to pass through here, once again, going around the 1/8 and going between the two larger 20 gauge 3/16 jump rings. Okay, this gets pretty easy as you go along. If you haven't done this before, you know, might take you a minute, but this shouldn't be too difficult. And you saw I just backed up my jump ring so that I could get that bead on. It was a little bit too close to the 1/8, but fed that on a little bit more. Okay, and now we're closing our second jump ring. All right, and now we're just going to start adding 20 gauge 3/16 again. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this until I have 5 rows of beads added onto this, and then I'll be back to show you what to do next. Okay, so I only actually have 4 rows of beads on here, but I wanted to come back and show you a little early. Remember, we put this 20 gauge and 1/8 jump ring back at the beginning. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to use it on my end. Because I just needed that temporarily at the beginning. Okay, so I'm just doing my 2 smaller jump rings, the 20 gauge 1/8. Okay, and I just have 1 jump ring left and 2 beads left. So let me flip this over. So you notice I'm keeping this coral bead closer to me and picking that up first. So when I feed in, I make sure that my beads are going on the correct sides. And I actually have not got enough beads because the hole is too small on that one. So just pulled out a new one. I don't remember which was which, so we'll give it a try. All right, that was the bad one. Let's get that out of the way. There we go. It didn't happen very often. Actually, that was the one when I made the first earring. I only had 1 bead that just wouldn't fit on. But after making several pairs of earrings, I've only just had that 1 bead where the hole was too small. So I don't think you're going to run into that issue a whole lot. Okay, so see, I'm sliding through between the rows. And again, I'm staying around the outside of the 20 gauge 1/8 inch jump rings. Okay, and then I will close. And this is probably the most difficult part. It's just a little tight, so getting this ring closed really well is a little bit more of a challenge than most of the other rings we're adding onto here, but just take your time. Okay, so now you can see I've got 5 rows of beads, and I've got 5 rows of large rings. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this into a circle. Okay, and I'm making sure that my light sapphire stays in the center. Okay, and I'll make sure that all the beads get put in the right place here. So see, I'm just moving that one out. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and reopen this first row, these large rings, and I'm going to connect them through my final row. So I'll be passing through the 20 gauge 1/8 inch jump rings. Okay, so it'll be on the top side, and then I'm going to flip it over and we'll do this on the back side. Okay, so this is really easy to finish because we're just reopening this initial row, and then we're passing through the small jump rings of the piece. And a lot of times what I'll do, I'll actually pull this out, and here's the reason why. If I try and connect this to this end row in the direction I'm going, because I'm right-handed, it's going to be towards the inside, so I don't mind just pulling that one out. I'm going to get it through here. I'll get my beads back down into place, and then I'm going to come through these 20 gauge 1/8 inch jump rings over here. Now this can take a little bit of fiddling. It's not hard, it's just getting this at the correct angle for it to pass through. You could say I have it pass through, but it's going behind this jump ring with the bead, and I need it to come up in front of it. Okay. And this particular color variation was very stiff. The other ones that I did were a little bit looser. So, you know, the looser it is, the easier of a time you'll have. But you do want to make sure that this is going to hold its form once you make it into earrings or whatever you're going to make it into. This could be a little tiny pendant or earrings or whatever you'd like it to be. And there you have it. So I purposely put the silver lined in the center because I thought that would give it a little extra sparkle in the center. And then I'll show you a couple of the other ones I did. And I'm showing you these just so that you can see. Basically, you're going to go ahead and pass a 1/8 inch jump ring through one of these pairs. And then you're going to need to add another one in order to add your ear wire to this. And it is as simple as that. So you can see how tiny these are. So you see it sitting on my finger. You know, this is not a very large piece. This can be done in some larger size jump rings, but I really like this little micro size, and I like that it works with size 8 beads. So these are all Miyukis. Okay, but this one, these are Toho size 8 beads. I would stick with the Japanese beads for this because they're going to have nice large holes for you to get through. Okay, so that is all there is to this. You can just make a bunch of these little pairs of earrings. You see how quickly this works up. And you can, of course, also make this into bracelets or necklaces if you want to. I'll just show you this stretch of bracelet that I'm working on. So that works great as well. So this is a really fun and easy weave to do if you're just getting started beading with chainmail, and I don't think that you'll have any problem with it. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and I will see you next time.